Whoa, cut, guys, cut. Hold on. Hey, guys, it's the future Agent P here, and I'm here because the past Agent P, he forgot to turn on his microphone, and there is no audio throughout this entire video of him. Like, our guest comes through fine, but I mean, just look at him. Look at him there. He's flapping his lips, nothing coming out. Poor idiot. But anyway, I am here to fix his mistakes, so we're going to start off this mistake fix by introducing today's guest. He is the co-founder and event manager of the Central Illinois Fighting Game Community, the CIFGC. If you're a longtime fan of the channel, you know that I have competed in several of their tournaments. So, Arneezy, how are you doing today, man?
I am doing all right. P, you sent me a message. You was like, would you like to have tea with me? And I'm like, you know what? I would love to. So I'm glad to be here.
So for people that don't know, the CIFGC was the first place that I ever did a locals tournament. It was November of 2019, I'm pretty sure. And these guys were just so open and warm and receptive to a new person like me coming in to play in these fighting games. And I think if it wouldn't have been for the group of people and the organization there being so open and warm, I don't know if I would have went to another tournament. But I was nervous as crap whenever I first walked in, and these guys just really opened up the door for me.
We're usually a nice group of people. Yeah, we're usually a nice group of folks. So really, I mean, but of course, I mean, it's probably your first local or first tournament that you've ever entered. So of course, having those types of feelings, it's pretty normal.
So everybody has favorite colors. So Arneezy, what is yours?
Silver. Yes. Yeah, because that's my favorite color. Silver is just a cool color. It works well in a lot of designs and things like that. So but feels like this my second go-to would be red, but I'm all about the silver.
A pretty contentious topic for a lot of people is pizza toppings. So is there one that you think that just should not be on a pizza, that normally people put it on a pizza? That was what I asked him, and much to the chagrin of my lovely wife, because she loves this particular topping on pizza, tacos, raw, just anything, he said
black olives. I hate black olives. I don't understand the appeal of olives. I mean, because I've tried them before. I was just not a fan. But my wife likes them, and one of my kids likes black olives on pizza, and it's kind of and even on not just pizza, Subway sandwiches, things like that. I just don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't get y'all black olive folks.
I think I did get the best facial response out of him when I asked the simple question of, is a hot dog a sandwich?
Yes and no. So I grew up, when I was growing up, it was instead of buns we had bread. But I mean, I'd go for the bun too at times, but it was mostly bread, with ketchup, mustard. But over the years, it's more like barbecue sauce and cheese, or a really good chili cheese dog on a bun. But that's a really fine, like, it's a really weird gray area if it's a sandwich or not, because it's you could fold a sandwich, like a ham sandwich. You can fold it, just like a hot dog. You can put different types of toppings in it, condiments like a sandwich. So, but sometimes it's not, because it's it's just a hot dog. No one really considers it like, oh, I'm gonna have a hot dog sandwich. No, it's more like, I'm gonna go have a hot dog. So that's why I say yes and no.
And of course, to that I had to reply, is it a taco?
Never actually thought of it that way, but that's an interesting way of thinking.
So being the co-founder and event manager of the CIFGC, how did everything get started? Like how did this come about, and what made you guys just really decide, yeah, you know what, we want to run fighting game tournaments and we want to do it right here in Champaign?
Well, CIFGC actually started in 2017. It was Alpha Chaos, Leon Panrana, and myself. We are the three founders of Central Illinois FGC. We had all like I myself have always wanted to start, something local because, you know, being in Central Illinois, there's not really anything compared to like Chicago or St. Louis. But I just never had the manpower or the time or the funds or whatever. It was after Combo Breaker 2017 when we all went. We had decided to just have a Central Illinois FGC local, because fighting games are starting to get even bigger than they used to be, and we just ran with it. We started in June 2017. We had a small hiatus in October because we needed a new venue, and we came back in December 2017 and have not looked back since. Leon has moved down to Texas, so it's Alpha Chaos, myself, and also Just Like Cap, who became our operations manager of sorts when offline locals were happening. But the transition into online locals, I will say it's a completely different beast because it's not like in actual in-person locals where it'll say, okay, you and you go play each other and it's already right there. When we have with online, of course, you've participated in many of our Dragon Ball tournaments. 30 minutes before the start, make sure you check in. Not everybody is there. I have to try to hunt people down, pinging them, things like that. And then there's also the infrastructure of online. Dragon Ball Fighters is one of the games that we run. You and I both know how that netcode is, especially on PS4. It's not the greatest, and we have frame delays. People fighting on high frame delay. Just we don't know if they're on Wi-Fi or not because there's no type of indicator or anything. So, or folks, I've had people try to enter our tournaments and they're actually not even located in the eligible regions and stuff like that. So you got to try to fumble all that, make sure because you're at home. I mean, yes, we're at home, but I'm using my own resources, my own bandwidth and all that. My bandwidth is super high anyways. It's still making sure things work. Like if something happens to my internet that day, I can't have a tournament. And there's a lot of factors behind it, making sure you're paying attention because you got to basically watch the whole thing, making sure players play their matches and making sure you report the scores right. There's a lot of different factors with in-person locals. Boom, it's just instant right there. You can update everything and just not have to worry about it. Things like that compared to online. Because with online, depending on the day, it's usually just me running it, which is why I don't enter my own tournaments. I try not to commentate my own tournaments as well because I need to concentrate on running, but sometimes that doesn't happen. So depending on the day, I'm by usually it's just me doing it, and it can take a toll. It is a bit of work, but I think the reason why I do it is because I just love doing it, basically.
So anyone that's watched a tournament online knows that there has to be really good commentators, and I am a little biased here, but I do think that these guys have some of the best commentators. So what is the process of figuring out who's gonna commentate for you, and the vetting process, and what do you go through in looking for a commentator for your streams?
Well, in terms of commentators looking for someone and things like that, of course there are some that I've asked that I know that commentated are in-person locals before, so of course they're usually the first folks that I would ask, things like that. in terms of like going outside of that, sometimes I'll just get suggestions on, who should commentate certain games, things like that. If I know that they're knowledgeable, for example, Dostro is usually the first person we always ask in terms of commentating, Power Rangers or any type of game that I know that he plays or he knows of. He's always the first person that we ask because of just how much knowledge that he has within the game. And then when Central Illinois FGC started running more tournaments and started, I would say, having more viewership in terms of different games and stuff, it was a lot easier to ask the commentators that are usually outside of our normal, area. I was able to successfully ask Uchi, who is, is possibly the best Power Rangers commentator this side of the planet, and was able to, get him on board with commentating 2 of our tournaments, things like that. So, and he's out in California, he's out on the West Coast, California. I believe he's in California. So, and also with myself, commentating other events as well has really helped establish working relationships with commentators that I've asked before. So like Zero Syndicate, who's commentated, he commentated our Brand Blue charity event. He commentates, Dragon Ball Z art for us. He commentated Mortal Kombat with us as well. So being able to have that working relationship with other commentators that I've worked with outside of Central Illinois FGC also really helped makes things easier for getting commentators for certain games.
So everyone that I've had on this channel so far to do this kind of a video, I've always asked about a goal. And, I use the words growth and expansion when talking to Arneezy about this. And I mean, I kind of just teed up the answer for him on that one.
I mean, you just said it right there. I mean, our main goal has always just been growth of the scene and, giving players opportunities to play with people that, have the same interests as them, and just not be, don't be shy about it, because we'll play with anybody, no matter what skill level you are. We just wanted to have, basically the goal is that, one of the biggest goals is that to show people that the Midwest, you should not sleep on the Midwest, because, a lot of, regional debates is always like East Coast versus West Coast, but like people tend to sleep on the Midwest. So, because I mean, we're about 2.5 hours south of Chicago, 3 hours north of St. Louis, 2 hours or so from Indianapolis, so it's, we're basically in the middle. So it's kind of hard for some folks to, travel those distances just to, play a tournament, or whatever in person. So with the great thing about online is that it's great for those that never had a chance to actually come to our actual locals. We've had, with games that we run that have rollback netcode, we can have the entirety of North America play. And it's kind of funny because our Discord now is mostly of people outside of Illinois. Well, but it's a good thing though. It's a good thing though. But we just want to be part of a community that loves doing what it loves to do, basically, and that's have tournaments, play fighting games, and just be chill with each other.
As soon as he brought up rollback netcode, I had to ask him about Guilty Gear Strive. Would they be running tournaments? How often they'd be running tournaments? Because as we all know, this game has just fantastic netcode, and I really wanted to see what he thought about it and how open they were to the idea of running Strive tournaments.
Of course, definitely gonna have tournaments for Strive. I don't know yet how often there will be. With Power Rangers, we do it once a month. With Dragon Ball, we do it once a month. Because as I said earlier, most of the time it's just me, and I also have my own personal channel to create content for as well. And I have a family, so Strive will definitely be a once a month thing. I know that for a fact, and yes, we will run tournaments for it because why not? Because why wouldn't you? I mean, Strive is a great game. The Everybody got spoiled by that. Everybody that has never played rollback netcode got spoiled by the Strive beta. Well, we have a little over a month until Strive comes out, so you just gotta wait just a little long. I hope they have another beta, though. I really do hope.
Now, of course, being an event manager of a fighting game tournament scene, you obviously have to have a favorite fighting game. I know you talk about one particular one a lot on Twitter, and that you stream it a lot. But what is your favorite fighting game? Now and just of all time.
Well, for those that follow me on Twitter, knows that I never really shut up about it. It's Fighting EX Layer. Definitely my favorite modern fighting game that I've been playing. That I run tournaments for. That I commentate for. So yeah, it's Fighting EX Layer. It has rollback netcode as well. So, and but overall, I would probably say just overall in general in terms of fighting games, probably Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, and Alpha 2. Since I'm an old man, so I gotta have an old man game in there. But yeah, Fighting X Layer is something I play.
So obviously, fighting games are a main focus for you, but outside of fighting games, and again, I kind of knew the answer to this question going in, but what would you say is your favorite non-fighting game of all time?
The Legend of Dragoon. Where's my remake, Sony? Or sequel? Something. Why are they abandoning their own franchise? I don't get it.
So outside of video games and work and commentating and running tournaments, I know it doesn't leave you a lot of time, but what other kinds of hobbies do you have?
Well, I have hobbies. Don't know if they're family friendly though. I mean, I basically other hobbies that I have is I like to just watch whatever randoms on YouTube or Netflix. Basically, I'm a simple person. I just chill, but I just basically chill. I make sure my kids do their schoolwork. I go to work every now whenever I can. I make sure I pet my dog all the time. So I have other hobbies. They vary from depending on the day. Basically since I'm an old man, I have this hobby of washing the dishes. So that's a hobby I get. So it just depends on the day. Basically, I just chill basically.
So whether you're driving or getting ready for the day or washing the dishes or petting your dog, everybody listens to music. It's just part of humanity. So what would you say is your favorite genre or artist?
Because I listen to a plethora of genres of music. They range from synthwave, retrowave, the top 40 pop hits, hip hop, R&B, classic rap, classic rock, sometimes classical, basically anime music, video game themes, basically anything except for country and really, really hard metal, basically. Because I listen to a plethora of music, Linkin Park, Run the Jewels, New James, Mega Ran, Scandroid. Seriously, there's a Daft Punk, Gorillaz, Rashad, Nate Wants to Battle, Little V. Seriously, I listen to a lot of stuff, man.
Now, you brought up Daft Punk, and for those out here that don't know, they did announced that they're retiring this year. This is going to be their final year doing anything. I think they're putting out one more album. But how do you feel about Daft Punk retiring?
I mean, I can see why they did. I'm also sad. I just wish that they could really, go around the world just one more time, but not a lot of us can get lucky about that. So but I'm always gonna still listen to their music, whether it's back then, more recent, things like that. But it's sad. They've been at it for 20 years or so, and they were part of my I would say like early junior high life. Watching the his Toonami had a music video marathon happening, and Daft Punk was they played like the whole video album of that one night. I was just watching it. They're basically, they were part of me growing up. So, it's sad, but it was inevitable.
So whenever you do get some free time and you actually have a chance to sit down and watch a movie, like what's your favorite genre or what's your favorite movie to watch?
I've always like Scarface. Scarface is one of my favorite classic movies to watch. I don't know, just something about it, really just appeals to me. It's been a long time since I've actually seen it, so. But in terms of like more, I guess modern movies or whatever, uh, um, I would say a lot of stuff from the MCU. Really, I do enjoy, but the Spider-Man ones, of course, because Spider-Man is usually my favorite comic book hero. So, I always tend to, be biased towards that. And I like, good old comedies. One of my favorite comedies is a Super Bad. That's always a good movie. It's good. Coming of age movie. Scott Pilgrim versus the World is also really good as well. So, in terms of like movies, like now I haven't really like fully focused on like catching up on movies I've missed, and stuff like that. But I do enjoy them whenever I get the chance to enjoy them.
So normally when I ask this question that I ask, what's your favorite obscure fact? I normally am leaning towards, what's something that you like to pull out at a party and just throw at someone and be like, hey, like my favorite one is that Jello is a cheap substitute for Big Fat, which if you've watched KRC Pinto's interview last week, you'd know that. But I think I misworded it whenever I spoke to him and maybe said like, an obscure fact about you. So instead of getting something like that, we actually get something nice and deep from him.
I mean, I don't know if it's obscure, but I mean, I think people nowadays know that I'm actually adopted. It's the parents I have here are not really my real parents, but I never knew my real parents, so I never really considered that like them like my adopted parents. But I mean, it's not really obscure because being adopted is kind of common now. But I've traveled the world before. I went to a Catholic Montessori school in the 6th grade in the Philippines. So, but that was a very long time ago. So I don't really have like a very obscure tidbit of myself. I'm just a simple guy that stays home.
So if people want to actually like reach out and contact you or follow your social media or whatever, like where can they go to get more Arneezy?
Well, you can follow me on Twitter at Arneezy619. I'm sure P will put that all in the description and all that. You can follow me on Twitter at Arneezy619 for Central Illinois FGC stuff. The Twitter is at CIFGC Gaming or twitch.tv/CIFGC. I myself stream as well. It's the same as my Twitter name, Arneezy619. You can, we have a Discord as well for different tournaments, playing games, things like that. So that's discord.gg/CIFGC. Yes, we're that cool to have our own link. And I am also the content creator for NCG Esports. You can follow them at NCG Esports _ on as well. You can find myself and other members of the team that also stream that are fighting game players for We have a few for BB Tag, Uniclear, and Grand Blue, things like that. So all that stuff, I'm sure P will put it in the description below. And if you have any questions, of course, about certain games, certain tournaments, want to learn more about commentary, because I also do commentate as well. You can just always hit me up on the Twitter, Discord, whatever. And I hope everyone has enjoyed today's show. And of course, thank you, P, for having me. It's a nice concept that you have, a podcast type of thing, Tea with Agent P. Glad that you and I are both tea lovers, unlike someone else in the room, but we won't talk about that right now. Uh, but yeah, thank you for having me once again, P. And we'll hope to see you in the next tournament that we run. I hope to see anybody watching, playing these tournaments that I run. If you're depending on the game and depending on the region, hopefully you'll have some time. We do other stuff other than Dragon Ball and Power Rangers, y'all. Just letting you know.
So a big thank you to Arneezy for coming on here, for being awesome, for starting the CIFGC and getting me into tournaments, just for being an all-around good guy and a tea lover. That's always a plus in my book. And guys, that is actually the end of our video. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that future Agent P, fixing past Agent P's mistakes, wasn't too big of a issue, but I gotta cover for the guy sometimes, so that's just how it goes. But anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell for notifications, and of course, go check out Arneezy on Twitter, on Twitch. Follow the CIFGC again on Twitter, on Twitch. Join their Discord. Get in on these tournaments. Like he said, as soon as the Strive actually drops, they're going to be doing a tournament. I don't know what day exactly, but they did make an announcement on the CIFGC Twitter that there will be a tournament in April. So the month that it drops, you can look for a Guilty Gear Strive tournament from the CIFGC. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. Cheers, but most importantly, have a great day.